Story continues. When Jesus saw that the crowd of onlookers was growing, he rebuked the evil spirit. Listen, you spirit that makes this boy unable to hear and speak. He said, I command you to come out of this child and never enter him again. Then the spirit screamed and threw the boy into another violent convulsion and left him. The boy appeared to be dead. A murmur ran through the crowd as people said, he's dead. But Jesus took him by the hand and helped him to his feet, and he stood up. So do you know what I see here? I see Jesus showing the boy's father what it looks like to overcome unbelief. The Bible says that when Jesus commanded the evil spirit to leave, the boy himself went into a violent convulsion, but then it left him. He then appeared to be dead, but Jesus took him by the hand, helped him to his feet, and he stood up. You know what I think this is? These are the stages of overcoming unbelief. And haven't we seen this before? Let's recall Jesus walking on the water to the disciples in the midst of a hectic storm. Matthew 14 says this, Jesus spoke to them at once. Don't be afraid, he said, take courage, I am here. Then Peter called to him, Lord, if it's really you, tell me to come to you walking on the water. Yes, come, Jesus said. So Peter went over the side of the boat and walked on the water toward Jesus. But when he saw the strong wind and the waves, he was terrified and began to sink. Save me, Lord, he shouted. Jesus immediately reached out and grabbed him. You have so little faith, Jesus said. Why did you doubt me? Can you see the parallels between Peter and this boy's father who's looking for a miracle? Check this out. They both believe, yet they are stuck with unbelief. The father says, have mercy on us, help us if you can. And Peter says, Lord, if it's really you, tell me to come to you. Jesus then commands a different evil spirit out of the boy and the evil spirit of doubt out of Peter. Then what happens next? The boy goes into a violent convulsion and appears to be dead. Peter sees how strong the wind and the waves are and is terrified and begins to sink. Jesus then grabs the boy's hand and helps him to stand up. The Bible says Jesus immediately reached out and grabbed Peter. And how does Jesus conclude this miracle with Peter? He says, you have so little faith. Why did you doubt me? In the context and origin of that word doubt, Jesus is really saying, why did you hesitate? Why are you still uncertain of me? Haven't I gotten you this far? Haven't I done miracles before? Haven't you seen me prove myself faithful? Haven't you seen the evidence of my goodness? Friend, God's not asking you to have it all figured out. He's just asking that you don't doubt. Because unbelief needs to be overcome. But I want you to hear me tonight. It won't be easy. It won't happen in the blink of an eye. But when the shaking of your soul begins to happen because God rebukes the fear and commands your doubt to leave, resist the temptation to curl up in a ball and die. Resist the temptation to quit on the process. Resist the temptation to lose your focus. If you believe that he can do it, then it's time to believe that he can do it for you. You may start to sink. You may start to feel like everything is dying. You may feel like you are starting to lose it. But friend, don't stop believing. You feel like you're going underwater, take your eyes off of the waves, put them back on Jesus. You feel like you're being swallowed up by anxiety, take your eyes off your insecurities and know that God has given you a spirit of power, love, and a sound mind. You feel like you're constantly trying to prove yourself, let go of the spirit of performance, know what God says about you is true, and that if you live for the acceptance of people, you'll die from their rejection. Unbelief isn't the absence of belief. It's the resistance to belief. And if Jesus can pick up a little boy who's been tormented, trying to kill himself, he can save you too from your suicidal thoughts. If Jesus can grab the hand of Peter, who's sinking because of his anxiety, he can restore your mental health. If Jesus can feed 5,000 family units with a little boy's lunch, then he can provide for your family too. And if Jesus, after 3 days, can come back to life from the dead, then friend, there's no situation in your life that is too far gone from the saving power of Jesus. If I could sum up what I want you to get is this. Tonight, you don't need to convince yourself to start believing. Instead, you need to remind yourself to keep believing. Friend, it's not that you don't have belief. It's that when the going has gotten tough in your life and you've gone through some tough situations, friend, this is the easiest season of your life, if I could remind you that. It only gets harder from here. We've only got ways to go, all of us. It's not that you need to start believing. Some of you, that might be true. But most of you, don't beat yourself up. You just got to remind yourself that you've believed God before. You've seen him move. You got to keep believing again.